It's little secret that I was quite distressed by the price of Commander Masters. The set is ludicrously expensive. So expensive, in fact, that even rich kids aren't getting to play ball. It's so expensive, in fact, even organisations like the Catholic Church haven't bought any. Sources close to me confirm that the Pope has drafted 0 Commander Masters. That's how expensive it is.
La mia visita a Cipro con questo incontro di preghiera. Ringrazio I patriarchi Pizzavalla e Becciarre.
But on the upside, single prices are crashing as people are opening it and filling the market with singles. So this video is just highlighting a few surprising or interesting ones that are incredibly cheap, and I wanted you all to know because buying singles is more sensible than buying sealed product. And if you want to pick up any of the cards in this video, go to your local game store, or alternatively, go to coolstuffinc.com, use the code KENOBI at checkout or the link in the description below to get 5% off your order and help support the show. Let's start with a banger that most people should be playing, which is Decree of Pain. It's an 8-mana wrath that draws you a card equal to the number of creatures destroyed this way. Yes, it's expensive, but it's going to net you 5 to 40 cards when you cast it. Beyond that, it has a lower 5-mana cycling mode where it gives all creatures -2/-2. This will be the default mode for a good portion of the time that you play it, drawing you a card because it's cycling, and neutering all tokens and mana dork heavy decks on the table by killing all the little gribblies. All for the low cost of 49 cents. It's an absolute bargain right now. Hangerback Walker comes in next, a 4 in a tier 2, tier 1.5 deck with Hardened Scales Affinity, and once an absolute menace of standard, this little walking aircraft carrier pulls its weight in aristocrat decks, token decks, counter decks, artifact matters decks, and it costs less than $2 right now. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Did you know that Wrath of God is below $2 right now? 4 mana, blow up the world, no regeneration, and it's at an all-time low price. Mystic Forge comes in at just under $2, a card advantage engine that is so good in artifact and colorless decks that it often sees play in both legacy and vintage. That's how powerful it is. So don't sleep on this card as it's reprinted in Commander Masters in the precons, which is brought it down to $1.50 at coolstuffinc.com. And on the topic of legacy staples, Fiery Confluence, a card that's a versatile board wipe or a artifact answer, or sometimes a direct burn spell to the face, played in mono red prison in legacy, is 50 cents right now. What a bargain. Speaking of more legacy powerhouses, Caldra Complete, reprinted in Commander Masters, is now available for less than $2, which is pretty sweet for a legacy and modern playable big equipment payoff that plays well alongside Stoneforge Mystic. Ultimately, this is a one-of in modern decks and legacy decks, so its price was never going to reach the lofty heights of expensive cards like the mythics in Modern Horizons, like Fury, for example. But still, seeing it at sub $2 is sweet, and I would pick this up if I were planning to build a Voltron deck where I can cheat it into play or cheat its equipment cost with something like a Pure Steel Paladin. And on the topic of Voltron decks, I want to share a little finisher with you that I think people are sleeping on a little bit. Heavenly Blade Master is an absolute 6-mana haymaker for any casual Voltron deck. Once you cast her or reanimate her or whatever, she enters the battlefield, picks up all your auras and equipment, often including a pair of boots, you know, some Swiftfoot boots or Lightning Greaves to give her haste, and then she is a double striking evasive body that buffs your entire board for +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to her, making her do a rather impressive impression of Crater Hoof Behemoth, but in white. I'm currently putting back together Rafiq of the Many, one of my favourite commanders of all time, and I probably wouldn't play her there because Rafiq already enables double strike, so you're losing some of the power that comes in the creature inherently. And coming in at 49 cents on coolstuffinc.com, this card is a bargain. Regal Sliver is currently sitting at just over $2, and it's my pick for my favourite of the new slivers printed in the Sliver Precon for Commander Masters. It's showing up in collector boosters as well as the precon and had its price plummet well below what people were trying to get you to pre-order it at. I was actually terrified of how expensive all of the mechanically unique cards from the precons would be. Some places were trying to get you to pre-order them at $30, $40 or $50. To be honest, some online stores have not caught up, but some places are selling this for €2 in Europe right now. At a couple of bucks, this sliver is absolutely incredible for any sliver deck. Being able to get the crown and become the monarch and draw an extra card, or more importantly, pump the entire team when casting a couple of slivers, is solid. There's an absolute banger and should be picked up for super cheap before they just don't reprint it for years to come. Have you ever wanted to build the Maelstrom Wanderer, but didn't want to drop 10 or 20 bucks on it at its peak? Well, don't worry, Commander Masters has brought copies of this down to below a couple of euros in Europe. Cool Stuff Inc. has them available for $2 right now with tons of them in stock. I know this is like kind of a bit of an ad read in a way, but A, my sponsor sells singles, and B, singles are very cheap for tons of interesting cards right now. I just couldn't believe how far Maelstrom Wanderer had fallen. I remember this card always being upwards of $10. Similarly, Godo Bandit Lord, whether he is going to be your commander or just a combo enabler in the 99, is currently $1, which again feels mad for me, as I assume Godo is a $10 card in my head. It always has been. The reprints are working in spite of the silly cost of the packs. Perhaps idiots buying the packs at the super inflated cost is what's causing this. So some ways we win and Wizards win and pack prices continue to climb. Who knows, but singles are low right now. Whilst obscuring Haze pales in comparison to both Fierce Guardianship and Deflecting Swat in terms of power level, it being $2 instead of $30 is pretty good by comparison. It's a free fog effect that people do not see coming when you have your commander in play, which will lead to huge blowouts and often just win you the game on the crackback. I love to see this card reaching such low prices as $2, but it also might crash further if they ever reprint the full cycle, because the others need more reprints to get their prices down. However, I could see a world where the others get reprinted as singular spots in special slots in certain boosters, you know, like your Strixhaven Archive style slot, and this being exempt or missed out because it's already cheap. I can see that being happening. Either way, if you're sad at buying it at $2, if it falls to $1, you know, in next year or the year after, I mean, I don't know what I can do for you there. It's just $1. And onto a more specific archetype that I really enjoyed playing recently, playing Sithis. Sanctum Weaver is sub $2 and it's one of the best cards in any Enchantress deck in Commander. It means that people should be picking this up now because I believe this is the kind of card that will climb if they don't reprint it much in the next couple of years. It does a damn good impression of Serra's Sanctum, a land that will cost you hundreds of dollars to do the same thing. This is a good budget alternative, or if you play both of them together, it will push your deck to the next level. Just proxy the land. And whilst we're talking about Enchantress, Sithis is also 50 cents right now, and Sigil of the Empty Throne is also floating around 50 cents right now, which is nuts to me because I remember this being a chase fair at one point. One card that I want to say not enough people play, but in reality I've not played with it enough myself, and I've never ever seen someone cast this in Commander, is Treasure NABA. The 3-mana Goblin Rogue basically takes people's Soul Rings, Arcane Signets, and similar for one turn after they've been tapped. So on the following turn, or your turn in the turn cycle, you'll have a lot more mana than you usually would. Normally grabbing at least one artifact from around the table. Sometimes you might get multiple Soul Rings or Arcane Signets. Some people take issue with this because it's temporary, it doesn't really draw much of a target onto you. Like I said, I've rarely ever seen it in a game. I don't think I've ever seen it physically in paper be played, but I think this card's actually a lot better than people think it is. Look, I could go on and on and on about cards that are sub $1 right now or 50 cents. For example, Jace Bellerin is only $1. Meanwhile, Savine's Reclamation, one of my favorite cards in Commander in recent years, is also sub $1. But you kind of get the point, right? I've highlighted some of the ones that I was surprised by, cards that I think people should play, pick up, have available to them in the archetypes, or some of them are more general, obviously. But there are so many cards right now that are sub $2, sub $1, sub 50 cents. That is just insane to me. Commander Master has done a really good thing of crashing all these prices. I say a really good thing. There's a weird argument where they can't release a product this expensive that also crashes prices because then the EV is never there and you never want to open it. But that's a whole different kettle of fish. Basically, Wizards need to work on their pricing structure. But in the meantime, single prices are good. I hope you've enjoyed the video. And if you are looking to pick up any of the cards talked about in the video, check out the link in the description below to coolstuffinc.com and get 5% off your order to help make those cards even cheaper. And I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.